right here is the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad Viaduct. And it is of importance because it looks like an old world wonder. But there is, as what's becoming rather too common, no further information about this. Pressing onward then.
Hello, Mark Jones. Hey, nice tall guy. Hey, we got a podium here. I saw the volcano blew up everywhere. Look at the clouds everywhere. Went crazy. Look. And I was like, look, dude, fucking volcano's crazy, dude.
This here is the first market house, built in 1853. And it was originally an open market with 3 aisles. You could see how the stalls were replaced by, looks like a little mini house inside there. Edward B. Franzheim, a local architect trained in Boston, designed this portion of it. And it's got your terracotta animal heads there. Looks like that one's got some horns broken off. And we've seen something similar to this before. Look how they built around this one. Look how stupid that looks. Just put block around the columns. I mean, oh yeah, definitely a way to maintain its historic integrity. Now, it has been enclosed. It still is the oldest iron market structure in the U.S. and the oldest public building in Wheeling. So they still use it for a market even today. I would hope so. It's a pretty big building to walk away from. Oh, look how sad he looks. And then it hit him. The pig sneered down at the people below. Yeah, you just wait till I get out of here. Things I'm dirty. Yeah. The Absalom Ridgely House. That's what we're looking at here. An early developer of the Ohio Valley region. And his early investments contributed to Wheeling's growth. And just look at the foundation. Just look at it. 1838 house. That's when we're told it was born. Built. There are no land books for this county prior to 1845. Therefore, we must take Absalom Ridgely's word for it. Of the years past. Big dog, underfoot. His name is Tux, and he's always in the way. Yeah, folks, I'm out there in that West Virginia. What you gonna do about it, bro? Behold, this is the First Presbyterian Church, the oldest documented building in downtown Wheeling. Now, this one we got a little bit of info about, and there's a little bit of interesting numerology. First of all, it is deeded from Noah Zane and his wife to the town of Wheeling for $1 for lot number 13. In length 66 and in depth 7 feet. For the similar purpose in and design and none other for which the said lot number 13 was heretofore granted. This is recorded in Deed Book 77. The 7 trustees paid $1 for lot 13. And the property is defined as beginning at a point in the west line of the Chaplain Street, where the south line of the First Presbyterian Church lot and the north line of lot number 14 and square 11 intersects at the west line of Chaplain Street. Thence running is a westerly direction with the said south line of said First Presbyterian Church lot and the north line of said lot 14 and the north line of lot 6 in the same square, 172 feet and 11 3/4 inches to a point in said north line of said lot 6, such point being at the west face of a stone wall. Interesting, there's already a stone wall there. Thence running at right angles with said last mentioned line along the west face of said stone wall, southwardly 66 feet to an alley at the southwest corner of a brick stable. Thence running in an easterly direction with the north line of said alley 33 feet to the southwest corner of Mary L. de la Plains property. Thence running in a northerly direction by line to the east wall of the stable and by the same extent 33 feet and 6 inches to a stake at the northwest call, corner of Mary L. de la Plains property. Thence in an easterly direction 140 feet and 1 3/4 inches along the north line of Mary L. de la Plains property and parallel with the north line of said lot 14 to the west line of Chaplain Street. Thence in a northerly direction 33 feet and 6 inches to the place of beginning. Did you get all that? So 7 trustees, lot number 13, 33 feet, then 33 feet, 6 inches. Also pre-existing stone wall. The tower was designed by Philadelphia architect Charles Chislett and cost $3,413.17. Dispute between the church and the city of Wheeling over the responsibility for the clock resulted in the unexplained disappearance of the clock. While they were fighting, the clock got up and ran away, with the dish and the spoon apparently, never to be seen again. At a cost of $8,445 in 1854, which is fucking tens of thousands, the west wall was removed and new doors had been cut, and the windows and doorways of the original structure were filled in with bricks. Totally normal. So, Reverend James Hughes was granted an appointment to preach, the first preacher of any denomination, and he was ordained and installed as a pastor. For 5 years, the United Congregation had 113 members. Totally normal. And in 1832, the severe flood of February inundated the Ohio Valley and did much damage to the low-lying settlement of Wheeling. At the same time, a man suffering from the dread cholera disease was put off a boat at Wheeling. He wandered into town and coughed on the nearest baby, and in 1833, cholera was of epidemic proportions. Scarcely a family escaped the dread disease. Noah Zane died in 1833. The need for more Presbyterian churches reflected the growth and geographical expansion taking place in Wheeling during the mid-19th century. And when Wheeling was incorporated as a city, the population was 6,000 people. German people showed up to join the Scotch-Irish majority, and then the Civil War brought tension. The co-pastor of the church, John Baker, was a Southern sympathizer. The Presbyterian minister of the Pittsburgh area adopted 5 resolutions following the attack on Fort Sumter, which expressed support for the federal government, freaking bootlicker, and refused aid to the Confederate States and their supporters. Therefore, Reverend Baker resigned his office. Following the war, the church got involved in the civic activities, i.e. the government. Dr. David Cunningham was installed as pastor, and he was also a legislature at the time, and he helped pass the law which permitted churches to hold property. So then the city of Wheeling transferred the first church to the corner of 13th Street to 7 named trustees of the church. One who was beloved and later served as secretary of the American Bible Society. There are 2 basements in the rear and 1 in the front. The foundation is cut stone. Now, let me be clear. When I say things like, when I show disdain for the Union side in the Civil War, well, I have videos that address why, but it's nothing to do with any racism or slavery. It has to do with the federal government being the invader and the overreach and invasion and subjugation of the states, that was what it was all about, okay? Just to be clear. So I love when they paint these pastors as like, oh, he was a dirty Southern sympathizer. It's the same tone as when they say, those grandmas and grandpas, those insurrectionists at January 6th that showed up with Kleenexes and water bottles, and they took selfies. Can you imagine? It's the same tone. The winners write the history, and the winners usually are liars, right? I mean, if you're so gung-ho on controlling the education and controlling the information, when do good guys ever do that? When does the truth ever censor? Never. The truth can be suppressed as a method of control, such as you don't want your kids to read about this. You don't think they're old enough to handle it. Well, that's what the government does to you. They don't think you can handle it. They can make the decisions for you. You're just some belligerent dumb fugger. So when I read things like that Southern sympathizer in these old books, I know what's really going on. Or at least I think I do. Just to be clear. And now we'll move on to this mansard-roofed beauty. This sunken-in holder of mysteries. This tight-lipped, mystifying, inexpectable, clankular privity is the William Goring house. Goring? Goring, who was a bookkeeper and cashier for German-American companies located in Wheeling. There is a basement in this asymmetrical Second Empire-style gracious abode. Mr. Goring worked as an assistant secretary of the German Fire Insurance Company, according to the history of the Upper Ohio Valley. He was born in 1840, took a 4-year course at a German commercial college before immigrating to the United States, and all this before the age of 19. When he arrived in Baltimore, he was a bookkeeper and cashier in a dry goods store. At the age of 22, he moved to Wheeling when he was hired as a bookkeeper by August Pollock in the notions business. And a few years later, he accepted a similar position with a wholesale grocer. And he was very active, serving as secretary for the Eagle and the Economy, 2 local building and loan associations. He's also a member of the Board of the Education, member of the City Council, and in the history of Greater Wheeling and vicinity, by Charles Wingerter, the German Fire Insurance Company is described thusly.
It is one of the oldest and most substantial fire insurance companies of the state, and its functions have been exercised for the best interests of its policyholders.
With their favor and support. John Osterling, former president of the Central Glass Company for whom Mr. Goring worked, was one of its early organizers, and he brought on Mr. Goring to also be employed by the German Fire Insurance Company in the capacity of assistant secretary. Conflict of interest everywhere. Built in 1883. And as you can tell, there's much more to this property than meets the apparent eye, as it descends down back further. You can't see from here, but back there, there's a basement and all this other stuff back there down the hill. Look at that cast iron work. Good golly. Although, that's getting a bit ahead of myself, isn't it? That's the next property. Damn it. One exhibit at a time. Don't be hasty. Isn't that what they say? That's what somebody says. Friggin' Treebeard. That's who. Christian Hess House. The Christian Hess House here, he happily habitated, hopefully hinting hither hesternal history, hypothetically. Mr. Hess was born in Germany in 1825. Christian moved to the United States in 1845. D served as an apprentice in Cincinnati, moved to Wheeling with a boy named Fat T, engaged with Daniel Schramper for the sum of $10 per month as a tailor, forming a partnership with Christian Hausenhauser. At the end of 2 years, he was able to buy his partner off for $750, which $10 per month doesn't add up to $750 in 2 years, but whatever. He erected a fine 3-story, $12,200 house, somehow, that same year. Okay. The math don't really check out on that, but the 33-foot frontage street on this splendid brick structure totally checks out. 2 stories front, 3 stories back. Excellent cast iron work, if I do say so myself. Mr. S.M. Howard is the architect. The Hess family lived here until the death of Mary Agnes Hess, his daughter, when the property became a boarding house and office. Just look at the density of that. Frickin' gorgeous cast iron work. By Jove. What a beauty. Look at this inside. All from being a tailor, huh? $10 a month. $10 a month gets you this in 2 years, huh? What a time to be alive. Look at all that mismatched furniture. It's like they just pillaged everywhere around them and just stuffed it full of crap. Look at that fireplace. Hubba hubba. God dang. What an old world beauty. I mean, look at the detail on this home. This is absolutely gorgeous. Oh my god, look at that thing. That is stunning. Who would have thought I'd dork out over lamps? What's happened to me? But really, just absolutely beautiful. And completely unnecessary. Like, if I wanted this done today, it would take a long time to find somebody to be able to do this, whatever it's made out of. Just unbelievable stuff here. Look it. No, really, look it. Closer. No, really, look it. Look at that banister. Jiminy's. Look it. And this little building that's squinched between these other buildings. Squinched. Is the Joseph Spiedel and Company building. Yeah. Mr. Spiedel had the largest wholesale grocery business in good old West Virginia. And, 1877, we're told. Nobody knows who the architect was, though they do know who the carpenter was and the guy that did the tin work and also the people that did the stonework and also the people that did the plumbing. But no architect. That's not really important. The plumber, though. And there are no records available in the original plans, but we know who the plumber is. There is a Wheeling Daily Intelligencer article that reports that the building's under construction in 1876 as they're adding a hydraulic elevator in the rear of the building, although it was installed after construction of the building. But it's not new, according to this article. You make sense of it. In 1850, Mr. Joseph Spiedel first moved to Wheeling, began a business career as a clerk, and he formed a partnership with his brother and John Waterhouse, and they used this squinched building to prolong his career as a wholesale grocer. Although frequently solicited to accept various offices of trust and profit, he steadily declined, preferring to devote his attention to business. No, you misunderstand, sir. We're offering you a job in politics. That is business. Eventually, the building was bought by Mr. Wilson and Sons, Mr. William Penn Wilson, who produced nail kegs used to ship cut nails manufactured, the Nail City, and soon they were conducting the most expensive business in the state, dealing in paints, oils, and constructive materials. And all of this can be found in the anonymously authored History of our Upper Ohio River Valley. The foundations are unknown because they're not accessible, which is interesting to me. Well, obviously to me. I mean, I couldn't speak for you. Actually, I could try. It's interesting to you. You find it interesting. Men talk the mind taker. And really, a striking building with gorgeous columns, with outstanding brickwork. Yeesh. West Virginia, I didn't know you had it in you. I didn't mean to rhyme there. But still, dude, don't get me started. Aw, shit, it's too late.
Another weird survey from Virginia out west. Everybody watching thinking how blessed. People living here are staying just as a house guest. West Virginia low key, it's not the loudest. Staying kinda hidden like a brown mouse nest. Everything was chill before, today we now stress. Uncle Joe created a foul mess. Only stayed early in the Appalachians. There's not a lot of people, so we're telespacious. Keeping it low key, never ostentatious. Southern hospitality, folks are gracious. Jim Justice kinda old from the era Cretaceous. Never been there, this is approximation. Listen the conversation for consideration as the destination for my next vacation. Deliver in person my appreciation for be the reddest state divided nation. Pennsylvania to the north and Kentucky down south. Sweet potato pies, the fresh got trout. You probably thought I was gonna say shut my mouth, but I decided last minute to get different route. Uncle Joe, Uncle Joe, Uncle Joe, Uncle Joe.
Captain, touch my ass.
Uncle Joe, Uncle Joe, Uncle Joe, Uncle
You're gonna have to not touch my ass.
No messing about, no touching, no tasting, no telling.
Here, the Bethany Church of Christ. I don't know why I said it like a Southerner, but this church was closely related with the early years of the religious sect now known as the Disciples of Christ, and with the sect's founder, Alexander Campbell. And that's all you're allowed to know about it. Whoa! God, lad. Holy Ostispumante! Look at that bad boy. God damn. Looking more sunker in than hell. Looks like the foundation should go down like that. Look at this castle.
Up. Not a castle, you fool.
This is the Old Main, or Bethany College. It's an astounding example of a single building designed to accommodate the entire range of college functions and to stand as an imposing piece of architecture on a hilltop. Where have you seen both of those things? Old Main is noteworthy. I'll say so. One of the largest, most accomplished of those Gothic-style buildings constructed before the Civil War. Confidently rebuilding in 1858 here in Ohio Valley. Not Ohio. Now, what we're told here is that Walter and Wilson of Cincinnati were the architects of the original building, which only lasted 13 years, which is longer than their partnership, which actually lasted only 12 years. We got Billy Walter and Jimmy Wilson.
Jimmy Keys.
Not you, Jimmy. Billy Walter was the son of Henry Walter, who designed the cathedral in Cincinnati. Jimmy Wilson studied drawings in Philadelphia and architecture in New York in the office of Martin Thompson, designer of the Second Bank of the U.S., and other who's who, Smithsonian institution designers, James Renwick, such and so forth. In any case, Bethany College was the single major building designed by Walter and Wilson during their 12-year partnership, and probably largely the work of Wilson, who visited Europe. Although we don't know if that happened before or after the design, still. After leaving William Walter, Wilson designed the M. Wise Temple, Cincinnati, and other stuff. Now, the story goes that in 1840, Alexander Campbell, who along with his father was a founder of the Disciples of Christ religious denomination, studied at the University of Glasgow, went to America, settled in Washington County, Pennsylvania, and the Christian Association of Washington in Pennsylvania was founded that year as an economical, non-sectarian group of Protestant congregations. Now, these so-called Disciples of Christ, they're trying to do an alliance with, or merger, what have you, with a Christian connection, and Alexander Campbell settled along Buffalo Creek in what later became Bethany, Virginia, as a writer and publisher, and once they established a post office, he of course was the natural postmaster, the only one fully equipped to handle the volume of correspondence.
All chairs to the center of the room. All chairs to the center of the room. Thanks.
Sorry, I had to make an important announcement. From boarding school and eventually turned into a college. Now, William Kimbrell Pendleton, who had graduated from the University of Virginia in 1840, I know you haven't heard of him yet, but the next year was baptized in Disciples of Christ by Alexander Campbell and married Campbell's daughter, Lavinia. She died, and then Pendleton would marry her sister, Clarinda. And after her death, he married her sister. No, I'm just kidding. He married Catherine Huntington King, who I don't think was related. But regardless, he was the first professor of natural philosophy at the college, vice president until Campbell's death, president after Campbell's death. So he married his sister, took his job, married his other sister. Damn, I thought I had an enemy or two. But 1846 to 1865 was the editor. He also managed the editorial Christian Quarterly and the Christian Standard. He was a state superintendent of the West Virginia Public Schools, and he helped to shape the design of this place, which we now see in full color, like Pleasantville. Lily touches herself in the bathroom. Suddenly it's like, oh, woo. It's probably a musty reference. Well, regardless, there are 9 basement-level arches in the south connecting sections, which were filled in with glass brick in 1932, in case you wanted to know. And here are colored photos of some of the black and white photos that we saw earlier. Look at that. Even more beautiful, for the most part. Striking. Where'd that lamp go? Look at that one again. Hey, something's not right about that. Just look at this place. It's wonderful, Henry. You know, it really is. What a stunning building. I mean, that's so over the top for a college. It used to be a boarding school in a brand new nation. No reason to exist like this. Towers and clocks and all this. Give me a break. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad it's here. You know, a funny thing happened, though. I've been locked out of the website that it's my accompanying piece, so. Whoa. That lamp from earlier. Hello. I'm gonna have to find something else to entertain you with for now, so. I'll see you soon.